Welcome back, everybody. As always, much appreciated you for joining me. Today, we are in the garage with the 2018 Ford F-150. I'm not finished, but I'm getting close to finishing up the first modification I've done to this thing. This, and besides the full tank of gas, are the only two things I've done to it so far. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's gorgeous. Anyways, guys, peep that. Hopefully I'm pointing at it correctly, but look at that thing. Thing is beautiful. I actually just remembered I did a video on the eBay side steps right over here. I'll put that link description. Bam! Look at that, guys. Look at that. I got a Barricade 3.5-inch bull bar with the dual row LED. Obviously, it's not done, hence why I said still working on the wiring. But it's got the dual row LEDs light bar mounted inside. This thing retails for $280, I believe. I bought this secondhand off some dude on Craigslist for $100. Granted, I was missing a good chunk of the hardware. This thing is supposed to be like a simple bolt-on bull bar, unless you have the closed end frame, or I'm sorry, unless your truck doesn't have the factory tow hooks that would typically be right over here for the mounting point for this thing. I don't have that because my truck is the base of the base. It's the basest of the base, if that makes any sense. I hope it does. That required me to do double the work since I was missing the hardware. I actually have the manual right here. Thankfully I had that. Okay, so insulation for this, insulation. I'm still in construction mode here. Installation for this thing requires you to remove pretty much all the plastic bumper that you would find under here. So like the plastic and then the air dam. The air dam sort of like that front lip thing. I don't know, you've probably seen it on a bunch of Fords. But remove that. And first of all, I think if you have a Ford F-150, that should be like the first thing you should remove. It just gives that taller, more clearance look on the truck. I think it looks cool, so I'm not going to put that back on. As for the plastic bumper, I'll show you all this stuff in a little bit, guys. But as for the plastic bumper that goes beneath the metal one, I still need to trim that because, like I said, my truck is the base of the base. It's just a base, guys. It's nothing special. So I have to actually trim the plastic, which I haven't done yet. I'm still debating on whether I want to put it back because I kind of like that. Because I kind of like that tall, got a lot of clearance look. But obviously that's going to leave the whole bottom open to God knows what. Someone's gonna get up there and someone's gonna get damaged, so eventually I will have to find a solution, skid plate or put it back on. I don't know. As of now, I'm just gonna enjoy it how it is. As I was saying, this thing was missing hardware just because I didn't have the factory tow hooks, because if you have the factory tow hooks, that's pretty much the hardware that you're using. But if you have a closed end frame like I do and no tow hooks, then you're gonna have to trim and you're gonna have to find different hardware and do a lot more removal stuff. Which is a pain. But anyways, I'm rambling here, guys. Let's get to the damn bar. This thing is beautiful. Disregard this dirty old lousy couch and pay attention to this part right over here and that bit right there. So as I was saying, this is the air dam. This is the piece that's going to be at the bottom. Again, I'm not entirely sure of its purpose. From what I've read, usually it's just supposed to help out with MPG along with just protecting you from pebbles or whatever the cars are throwing at you in front of you or something like that. But I've read a lot of people take this off, to get that taller, more clearance look, which I love. So I'm probably not going to put that back on, or at least not for a while. This is the other piece that I was referring to. So we're supposed to have a tow hook here and one there. But again, it's a little base truck, so we have one solid piece. If that's the case with you, then you are going to have to do some trimming on either side so that the mounting bracket right up here, this bad boy, is able to portray out and actually do its job and mount. Over here, I have the wiring harness. What's good about this is everything is just plug and play. It's beautiful. You've got your red, negative, positive terminals. You have your relay somewhere over here. Here you go. Relay here. You're going to have to mount that somewhere. And then you have your switch. Okay, with that overview out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and try to figure out the whole wiring harness. I'm going to have to fish the line all the way through the engine bay to the front so I can get the switch to be located right there whenever I want to pop off some more lighting. But anyways, going to have to fish the wire, the cables in through the engine bay and out into the cabin of the truck. So that should be fun. I haven't really done anything like that. I've done it on the Subaru. I've had to wire hella horns, which, you know, if you're a Subaru owner, you know what I'm talking about. And then my boost gauge, which wasn't really too hard to fish through, but still takes some time. Hopefully this truck isn't as much of a pain as working on that car in the engine bay, or just fishing wires in general. So, like I said, thankfully all these wires are pretty much plug and play, and they definitely do give you a decent amount. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that fishing the wire didn't take too long, except it did. Alright, let's go ahead and get to the part that you are most likely here for. This beautiful couch. Removing the front bumper off your 2018 Ford F-150. Okay, so the way you want to approach this is you're going to have to contact Ford. They're going to send out one of their design engineers out here to come out and show you how to do it, because it is complicated. No, actually doing this is fairly simple. All you're going to need is a basic ratchet tool set, a couple of flathead screwdrivers, and a little bit of elbow grease, and maybe a 6-pack. Okay, since I have all this stuff already removed, I'll just go ahead and walk you through all of it. First thing you're going to want to do is get underneath your truck and remove the air dam. So this is that front lip I was talking about earlier that's hanging down below. You're going to need to remove that. That is 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of, remove 10 of those bolts. Those are going to be actually connected to this part right here. You'll see the holes. So that's why you have to remove the air dam first before we can get to this piece right here. So once you've removed all 10 of these bad boys, the next thing you want to do is you have these pull tabs right here. 1, 2, and I think that's about it. See? Those would just... So those pull tabs, if you look under your truck, are going to be held in with this tab right over here and another one right here. This one, not so much, as you can see. It's not that big of a deal. I think it just holds it in place. But there you go. To review, you remove all 10 of those bolts, pull all the tabs off, and your air dam should be off and good to go. Okay, real quick, this is just a basic overview on removing this part right over here, this metal bumper, and then the plastic bits below that. Obviously they're not here because I removed them, but that is what I am referring to in this video when I say removing the front bumper. There's a few different ways actually going about this, removing the grill, going inside the through the engine bay and removing clips and stuff. I didn't want to do that. I didn't have to do that, thankfully. So again, guys, this is just removing this bit, this metal bumper, and the plastic parts underneath. Might be a little hard to see, but I forgot to mention this. You're gonna have to remove this cover right here, the middle cover, and then lastly on this side as well. It's pretty easy, so you want to get that flathead and just kind of slide it in between that gap right there, making sure you don't scratch your bumper, especially on a black one, because then you'll be able to see that scratch. But anyways, you want to use flathead screwdrivers to pry that off. They're just metal, those little metal tabs that hold it in place. So same applies for the middle bit right over here. Hopefully you can see that. That's just pulling it off once you remove these side covers. Flathead screwdriver, pry it in that gap, give it a little leverage, and just have some force, and it'll pop right off. A little tip, when you are doing this and you're hitting against the body or something metal and you don't want to scratch it, you could wrap the end of this flathead with tape. Well, I use tape, masking tape, just enough so that it covers the metal so that you don't scratch anything when you're doing this kind of job here. Okay, we'll go ahead and pop that off. There you go. As I was saying, we got metal clips on top of metal clips. Some of them will stay on the plastic cover itself. That's alright. And then that gives us access to these huge ass bolts. We got one here, and then we got the other one right back there. Hopefully you can see that. Bam, right in there. There you go. There's that metal, the plastic cover that I was talking about that I removed. Gonna have to remove the middle license plate section as well, and then that last one over there. But going back over here, we have one of those big ass bolts. There it is, right there. That one, and then you're gonna want to remove. My gosh, this is terrible. Right here, this one here, one up here. That guy that I can see, And then, so once you remove those big ass nuts, that one, oh my gosh, that's not good choice of words there. Once you remove that big nut, that's worse actually. Once you remove that nut and the ones on the front, you want to remove these guys over here. Bam, bam. And then this metal bumper should be clear to come right off. You'll have access to the frame, which I had to do because I didn't have the proper hardware. So the closed frame then becomes open. You have access to install that bad boy. Woo! The whole point of removing those plastic covers on the front is so that you have access to these nuts over here. You got these two on this side as well. These are more tucked in right here in the well. Right in there, you'll kind of see the holes. Those are a little bit tough, so you're going to have to turn the wheel so that you have more space to work with. It's a little bit tough, but you'll eventually get it off. See, you got 1, 2 back there. Hopefully you can see that. Whole point here is that you remove those plastic covers on the front to gain access to these guys right here. And then the way you take care of these guys is you got to get your ass down there. Hopefully you have somebody else with a flashlight or something just to help you out so that you can take care of these guys. And then these were a pain over here, but they're just these little like clips that you need to get pliers or something to squeeze down so that they just slide right off. These ones on the side are a pain. This one is super easy because remember we have that access point right in front. So a child usually does the trick. They have small arms and hands, so they can kind of just, you know, wiggle their arm in there and get it so that this piece comes off. And then you're left with that. Once you remove these two, the air dam and this plastic cover, you're gonna look like this. Not bad, right? And then we get underneath the truck to remove this. This is a little bit easier to take off, but you're gonna need a breaker bar. Yeah, pretty much a breaker bar because those things are on there pretty good. Alright, so hopefully you guys learned something in this very basic, not detailed how-to on removing the bumper on a 2018 Ford F-150. I wish I recorded myself as I was removing all this stuff, but again, this was like my first time actually, you know, getting some wrench time with this truck. So yeah guys, since I wasn't 100% sure of what I was doing, I didn't want to record that and then have you guys try to piece and figure it out as I'm trying to figure it out myself. So I thought it'd be better if I just talked through it in my very non-detailed way. Hopefully you guys learned something from this. If you have any questions on removing a front bumper from a 2018 Ford F-150, I will link you to a Ford forum because I got lucky on this one. I'm joking. If you guys actually have a question on this stuff, everything that I just talked about, just go ahead and leave a comment. I'll do my best to try to answer all that stuff. But as a Ford owner, if you just got your F-150, I think you should probably remove that air dam first. Just because it looks so out of place, and I know there's a purpose for it. I know Ford didn't just slap on a front lip on the bottom, or a bottom lip I should say, on a truck without having a purpose for it. So that's your call guys if you want to remove the air dam or not. I did, and I don't know if I'm going to put this thing back on, probably not, but that does leave all this very much open and vulnerable, so I will have to come up with a solution for that first. Maybe a skid plate, I don't know, but as of now you don't really want to keep all that stuff opened to all the elements and whatever other stuff happens on the roads. You know, some cars in front of you throw pebbles or debris or something, so you don't want some of this stuff exposed is what I'm trying to say. So you might want to figure out a solution there or just put on the plastic bumper again. Your call. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed that video. Be sure to subscribe, comment, and like. There are some other things that I'm going to do to this truck. That bull bar is just the beginning. There are far more things to come. But that doesn't mean we're leaving this thing alone. No. We're still doing Subaru stuff. We're still doing car stuff. But at the same time, we're going to try to do truck stuff. So for that reason, guys, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell. I don't know what that bell does. I just know people tell you you're supposed to hit it. So hit it! And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace!